Okay guys, so within this video we are going to be discussing Mob of the Dead for Black Ops 3 Zombies. Now, we are going to be talking about DLC 5, but this is really going through the evidence we have directly with Mob of the Dead, tying back to DLC 5, and tying back to like what we're going to see, if we see a Mob of the Dead remaster. The loading screen that we saw last week from the comic book, a part of Black Ops 3 Zombies, it's just so interesting, and it does verify what we sort of thought was happening within the storyline of Black Ops 3 back from Zitsubo. And again, we'll talk about how these characters are teleporting, where they're going, why they're doing the stuff they're doing, and how they're either continuing the cycle, how this map pack or DLC 5, whatever it's going to be, at least the storyline as of now, is it setting up to be Modd's new world, like we saw at the end of Revelations, like we also saw within the Ascension loading screen where you see Motd basically in his new world, but now in the Mob of the Dead loading screen, and in general, you don't necessarily see Modd's new world, you sort of see how the Origins characters got the blood vials. And we're not so sure, honestly, or I'm not so sure, really what the time frame of all this is going to be and what the point of all this is going to be. Obviously, it's giving us a lot of interesting information, a lot of interesting questions as to what the direction of the storyline really is, because after Revelations, it's sort of up in the air, really, what's going to happen, Could Motd continue what he's been doing? Is it going to be where we actually try to stop Motd? I thought that was going to be Revelations. I guess not. We basically sort of helped Motd at that point. If there's going to be a DLC 5, are we just going back and seeing like how we led up to what happened in Revelations? Like, what was the lead up to all this happening with Motd creating his new world over and over and over again as we realized the cycle continues and continues and continues. So that's going to be this video. Very interesting here. A lot of different stuff to talk about, specifically with Mob of the Dead being remastered and what the storyline implications of that will be. So again, if you can leave a like, that'd be greatly appreciated. If we can go for 250 likes, that'd be freaking insane. You guys have been destroying these videos lately, so thank you guys so much for that. And let's get started here. So again, from the comic book, we saw the other remaster maps. Right now, what we're thinking about is, Mob of the Dead, and what's been talked about in the community. Mob of the Dead, Moon, Ascension, Origins, those have been the maps that we've been talking about being remastered, and the 3 of them have had remastered loading screens. 2 of the loading screens have released within the past 2 months, so it's getting interesting. But this Mob of the Dead one is really weird, so we're gonna go through a couple different stuff here. Let me put the original Mob of the Dead loading screen up on screen now, just to show you guys. Nothing really that interesting. It's more of just the Easter egg plans, how to escape the island. You guys know all of that stuff. Nothing really that much there, because if you see, I'll put on screen the remastered Mob of the Dead loading screen, it's pretty different. It's not really what we saw before, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys know if you've been watching, this was obviously last week's news, but I want to go a lot more in depth on this stuff. This new Mob of the Dead loading screen is actually based off of the original Nocturne Totem loading screen, and I'll put that up right now. Nocturne Totem loading screen, we have no clue what's going on here, or at least there are probably theories. Obviously, we don't know the characters. There's some military guys fighting. I don't know if they're German. They might be. It just doesn't really make sense. We really don't know the whole beginning of this. But why is the Mob of the Dead remastered loading screen basically similar or almost identical, and I'll put the Mob of the Dead one back up, to the Nocturne Totem one? I don't really know why that's the case. But anyway, if you guys have any theories, leave a comment below. But we can see the Mob of the Dead loading screen here. The remastered one, obviously, we don't have anything to go off of. Like the Ascension one, we saw clear differences, but this is just a whole new thing. So just to look at this here, we have one of those zombie officers from Mob of the Dead. I think I saw his name was Ferguson somewhere. So I guess his name was Ferguson. You have a bunch of different things with different timestamps: 1914, 1933, 1941. Very interesting dates. Obviously, those are important. You have the cell block, and then you also have the sort of cryogenic containers at the bottom. And if you don't remember, those, or at least we saw within the Risendrock, it was Dempsey was in that one. Dempsey's old Black Ops 1, original body was in that one. So I don't think obviously those characters are in this here. I think this is for a whole different purpose. We're not so sure really. but this is what's on the loading screen. So again, Mob of the Dead around that sort of, 30-20 point, before 1941. Let's just say that. Whenever Mob of the Dead took place, whenever this is taking place right now, it's all before 1941. It's in the 30s or in the 20s, around that time frame. Because you see 1941 is the point where these 4 characters look pretty similar, look pretty interesting, don't they? Yeah, they're the Origins characters teleporting back to Mob of the Dead. Now, obviously, this is after the events of Mob of the Dead, so, we're not really, I'm pretty sure we're not going to meet the mobsters or anything, but, if there is going to be a, DLC 5 remastered Mob of the Dead map, we're going to be playing as the Origins characters, and it'll be us teleporting back to Mob of the Dead, 20 years or so after the events actually took place. But again, why are we going back there? What is the purpose of this? Now, the theory is, as of now, within Zetsubo, and it is, a pretty solid thing here, we know, pretty sure within Zetsubo, at the end of the Easter egg, we teleport back to Mob of the Dead to get the blood vials for the characters. We talked about them being an insurance policy for the characters in case stuff goes wrong within the next couple of DLCs. Cycle continues. They basically are continuing the cycle with these blood vials. Now, this is the interesting part. So let's just get the confirmation down that, okay, if we're gonna get Motd remastered, I'm pretty sure we all know it's gonna take place during or at the end of Zetsubo when they teleport back, and it's sort of like picking up where we left off in Zetsubo, sort of not really picking up where we left off, but filling in the gaps of those blood vials, going back there, acquiring them. Maybe we'll learn some more information. We're not so sure. The cryogenic tanks or containers, whatever. I'm pretty sure someone talked about them being maybe the Mob of the Dead characters, and that's why we get their blood. That makes sense. There could be other stuff as well. So, that's the theory right now. Bunch of other theories, I would guess. Now, the thing is, this doesn't really make sense with Dr. Monty's New World, because Dr. Monty's New World, I would assume, and you have to look towards how Treyarch wants to develop the storyline. I don't think, whether or not we're seeing a DLC 5, and whether or not we're gonna see more bits of storyline, more, loading screens and all this insane stuff, Treyarch, I doubt they're gonna continue the storyline into their next 2018 Zombies title as the same thing over and over again with the cycle continuing. I'm pretty sure Treyarch, they do not want to continue the cycle anymore. The whole point really now is to end the cycle and stop Dr. Monty from doing this over and over and over again, and stop these Origins characters from fighting these Apothecon creatures over and over and over again and doing all these things. You guys know the quotes of there being multiple Richtophens. You guys know all this stuff, It's pretty clear that it's occurring, but does Treyarch want to set it up for us to stop Monty, or just stop really the cycle from happening one way or another? Does, Treyarch want us to go back in time, go back to these remaster maps like Ascension, Origins, Moon, Mob of the Dead, and sort of stop what's going on? Because if that's the case, if we're trying to stop what's going on, maybe we're not going back to Mob of the Dead for the blood vials. Maybe we're going back to do something else. Maybe we're going to these maps to actually really become aware of what Dr. Monty's doing and stop it from happening, So it really sets up a bunch of different stuff. Now, again, I talked about in my other video, I forgot which video it was, one of the DLC 5 videos, the Ascension one, where we talked about the Ascension loading screen. We saw Dr. Monty's New World. Are we picking up either, specifically with Mob of the Dead, a right time to pick up would be in Zetsubo, at the end of Zetsubo, where we teleport back, like I said. But Dr. Monty's New World, where in Ascension, I'll put it up on screen, it's like, he's looking and there's like grass in the background. You can tell like it's his new world, there's nothing going on there. It's like the beginning of time, which obviously has occurred over and over again, but it's the beginning of time for him. He's starting fresh again. It's gonna happen again. Trust me, he's gonna send the characters on this adventure, whatever. But thing is, are we taking place now in Dr. Monty's New World after Revelations? So is this Mob of the Dead map that we may see not actually going to be in 1941, but even further past Revelations, or whatever the hell that was, or maybe further into the future when Dr. Monty has this new world, Will we even be the same characters? Because obviously we see here the Origins characters going back to get the blood vials, but that's really stuff that happens within Zasubo. That's sort of just even more background story. So maybe this background story is just what it is, background information, background storyline information. It's not really what we're going to be seeing. Maybe we're going to Motd to actually do a whole different thing. So I don't know. Like I said, you go and look at it at different perspectives. Is it going to be a complete new universe in Dr. Monty's new world, and we're trying to stop the cycle from ever continuing again? Or are we going back and seeing how it all happened? Or I guess there could be one more really going back and stopping it from ever happened. A lot of different, like I said, you know, a lot of different things that these characters could be doing. A lot of different possibilities. Treyarch has set it up for so many different possibilities. So at this point, we don't really know. I do know that's going to be insane. The Motd Remastered, I think if they did remaster the map, eventually it would give us a lot of important information, a lot of really sick information as well. So I do think it would be really, really cool if they did it. So yeah, that's really it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. Anything else really with Motd? I guess leave your comments below, leave your theories below. I don't know, man. So many different possibilities. As of now, I don't know really where to go. Because I've been thinking about the Motd thing, and I do think Dr. Monty's New World, we're gonna see more of it, whether or not it's DLC 5 or the next Treyarch game. But with Motd, maybe we're not talking about Dr. Monty's World. Maybe we're really going back and doing a whole different purpose here. Or, like I said, really stopping it from happening. So we are going back to 1941, even before any of this actually happens. I really know. You know, would it make sense with the other maps? Would we be going back during that same time frame in Ascension, Moon, even Moon? When are we going back to Moon? Before we exploded the rockets? After? Before we blew up the moon? Didn't we blow up the moon to Horizon Rock? Why are we going back to the moon? I have to make a moon video now. This just so many different, I don't know. It's crazy, man. I need to do like a whole like live stream talking about this. It's just so many different things. I gotta end this video. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you're watching at the end of this video, leave a comment below, MOTD, Mob of the Dead, MOTD, so I can see the comments that are watching the whole video, I guess. So thank you guys again for that, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.